Everybody. All right, injury report. There are no changes. We had a couple did not participate in Apke, Crowder, and Richardson. And then limited were Davis, Doxson, Laval, Peterson, Sheriff, Thompson, Vigil, and Williams.
What is Davis's injury?
Vernon? Yeah. He has he slightly did his hamstring. Slight hamstring.
And Crowder?
Ankle.
Was that from the game?
Yes.
Is that something that would keep him out on Sunday?
He didn't practice today. He's day-to-day. It's a little swollen, but we'll give him until, obviously, game time to figure that out.
You had mentioned about maybe simplifying things with the scheme if you had to on the defense. Is that something that you are doing now that you've looked at it a little more, or where does that kind of stand with that?
I don't know if it's about simplifying or just communicating better, make sure everybody's on the same page. That's all. And we've been doing some of the same stuff since training camp that we messed up, which is a little mind-boggling, but we'll get it fixed up. We'll get it fixed up. Coach Gray and Coach Rowe and Manusky, they'll do a good job fixing it up. And it was an abysmal performance by a lot of people, not just the secondary, not just the defense, but the offense included. So I think we all have a lot of work to do.
When you talk about getting better communication, what kind of things can you do during the week to ensure to maybe improve that?
Well, it starts in the film room, film study, and then we go out and practice for a reason. Give them different looks, as many different looks as we can, and they communicate and carries over on the field. So there's only so much we can do. There's only so many looks we can give them. We're always going to see something new. And, the Saints give us a few different formations with, Ingram and Kamara in at the same time, a couple of different things, but nothing that should have been that confusing.
Some of the miscommunication, it's not like you're watching it and seeing guys talking and someone not paying attention. It seems to be stuff that these guys are supposed to know. How much of that, the miscommunication, is happening during the week versus actual game day on Sunday?
Yeah, not much. I think, some of them, like I said, I think, they're coached up, and for whatever reason, we just had a couple busts, 3 or 4 of them that cost us big time. And it's up to us as coaches to make sure that doesn't happen because, the play is a reflection of us. And we got to make sure that they totally understand and have a great grip on what they're doing. And then on game day, they got to go out and execute.
Ultimately, who is responsible? Because, there's
me. I'm ultimately responsible.
On the field for the communication, though, where it's
we have
whatever it is.
Constant communication, depending on formation sometimes and backfield sets or what have you. Some things have to change. There are certain things that we want to do to change, and that has to be communicated. And obviously, we'll do a better job.
Jay, assuming Josh Doxson is healthy enough to get back on the field Sunday and maybe get together a string of games here, what are you hoping to see from him the remainder of the season?
Yeah, we're just hoping to, when the play presents itself, for him to make a big play for us. And he's a guy that we have to give opportunities to. He has lacked opportunities and had a couple that we didn't cash in on. We got a couple PIs. But overall, I think, he's a guy we need to try to get the ball to a little bit more, see what he can do with the ball in the air. Even when he's a little bit slightly covered, we got to give some opportunity balls. So I still expect big things from Josh. I'm totally confident that he's going to be healthy and ready to roll.
Jay, on the offensive line, obviously nowhere near what happened to you guys last year, but you do have a lot of guys banged up, or Trent had the surgery. How are those guys holding up physically, given what they're dealing with?
I think they're okay. I think I don't think any of them are probably where they want to be. I think they're all just a little bit. But I think everybody in the NFL up front, these big guys up front, they take a beating, and it's a lot of football and a lot of contact for these big men, and it's just something that these guys will have to fight through for the most part. I don't know if they'll ever be 100%, but we just need them to get out there and focus on their job and play to the best of their abilities no matter how they feel.
Would Stroman have stayed in the game if he didn't give up that long touchdown?
Who? What?
Stroman. Would Stroman have stayed in the game if he hadn't given up that long touchdown?
No, Josh is coming back in. Yeah.
Sean's back out now. Is he kind of on a path to be able to possibly play this week? And what do you need to see from him before he's ready to be on game day?
Laval? Yeah, I think we need to see him practice and see how his calf holds up. These calves, I've had a calf for about 6 weeks now, and it doesn't get better. So we just got to make sure he gets a little bit of work and make sure that thing can hold up on game day. If it's tightens up at all today or tomorrow, then we'll probably hold him up, but we'll wait and see.
If he is ready to go, would he slide back at left? Or
Oh, yeah,
would-
yeah. It's getting better. I'm limited.
Greg, coming off a rough one like last week, I guess, what was your overall message to the group once you guys got back together yesterday?
We didn't play, played good at all, across the board. I think, even Jay mentioned it, has anybody played good in the room? Nobody has. Nobody did. So we didn't coach good enough. We didn't play good enough. And it's a learning experience for us. And we got to make sure that we come out this week and make sure we perform at a high level compared to what we did on Monday night.
I guess one of the buzzwords is communication. When it's things like what defensive set you guys are in, how hard is that for you as a coach? Because that's not an intricate concept,
No, I'm just saying from our standpoint, there was a lack of communication on the field, and we didn't get it done. So we got to move forward, learn from our mistakes, and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Just as an example, there's the play where it's a read option with Hill and Kamara, and Hill winds up keeping it, which wound up being a good thing for you guys because Kamara's probably wide open to score. But it looks like it's DJ and Mason who are not on the same page there. So when it's two of your leaders right there in the middle of your defense, does that become even more concerning for you as a coach that the guys who are supposed to be in charge of that can't get on the same page?
We're going to try to fix it every time. I'm saying when we watch the film, that's why we have sessions and that's why we have practices. We go out there and we practice those formations and things that they do. There was a situation with those two. We got to make sure we correct those and we coached off of it. So we got to make sure it doesn't happen this Sunday.
After the game, both Josh and Jay seemed to indicate that on that 62-yard touchdown pass right at the end of the first half, that maybe there was some freelancing going on there, that maybe Josh was trying to make a play there. Has that been a problem for Josh so far this season?
No, I just think it was just a miscommunication on the part. I don't think anything was. We just didn't play the right coverage, and it showed. And Breezy hit it and made a good play of it.
Continuing on, Josh, he took a ton of criticism, both for his play, some off-field kind of things. How has he bounced back in these last couple of days?
Very good. Today he had a real good practice. He's focused, he's detailed, and I think the whole defense was that way today. It was good to get back out on the field and make sure we fix those wrongs that we had the other night. So it's good practice today.
Coach, with the miscommunication out there, do you ever consider maybe scaling down? Maybe just lightening the load a little bit so guys aren't guessing, but they're reacting?
Yeah, I think sometimes, you put a decent amount of stuff on some of these guys. We try to cut it back. I always talk to the coaches about, is it too much? Is it, if so, then we cut it back. So that's what we'll be doing this week.
Greg, the challenges of Cam Newton this week, obviously a quarterback who can do a lot of different things to stress the defense.
Yeah, a very good quarterback. He can run, he can throw. He could do all, slide in the pocket, big frame guy. You got to make sure you get bodies around him. He could scramble for first downs. He's a force. He always has been when he's got in the league. And we got to go out there and make sure we win the game.
You were here a couple of years ago when they beat you guys on that Monday night game. Anything you take away from that coming into this week on how you have to prepare?
I think you go back, you look at it, and you take what you needed to from the film. But overall, different coordinator, a little bit different, same offensive line coach, but just overall, we got to learn from our mistakes, what we did on Monday, and fix them.
What catches your eye about Christian McCaffrey, considering the kind of versatility that he kind of brings and the fact that they're kind of giving him more of a role as far as running between the tackles and all that?
Yeah,
he
doesn't come off the field very often. Very good football player, has great vision, sight lines in the hole. He can speed it, he can beat the post safety, and he has great sight lines. It's a real good offense for him as a running back. It's a read option. Team, but overall, very physical football team, and we got to get after them.
For a kid like Greg Stroman, you know, somebody who comes in, gives up the touchdown early, what do you tell him about keeping his head up and how he grows from there?
You know, he was in there dry, and then all of a sudden, you know, they caught a touchdown pass on him. I told him, hey, man, just keep on, you know, even when, you know, for any young guy that's out there playing, you know, you just got to keep on grinding and keep on working at your profession.
What have you made of Josh's season overall?
Good and bad, up and downs, you know, just like all of us, you know, from our standpoint, even from a coaching staff, you know, it's up and down. We got to make sure we're consistent across the board every time and go out there and play and win football games.
And then do you say anything to Monte after, you know, he committed that penalty after the play? Like, how did you kind of handle that?
Well, there was a lot of curse words in there, but, you know, you get sometimes tied up in a moment, and I understand that as a player. Sometimes that does happen, but you can't let that anger or whatever frustration that you have when you're there dictate a penalty and have the offense go out there. You can't do those stupid penalties, especially on a third down situation where, you know, they can gain first down, and that's what they did. So a couple curse words in there, but, you know, overall, still love the kid. All right.
On that same play, I guess Ryan had the sack. You know, what's your evaluation of how him and Preston have played together? I know the sack production isn't there.
Right.
Is there how do you evaluate that as a coach?
Well, I tell you this, even the last 3 weeks, you know, with Andrew, you know, and the quarterbacks we've been playing, they get the ball out quick, you know. So, you know, they are very good quarterbacks, and we should get pressure on them, don't get me wrong. But, you know, we got to just keep on building, and they'll come, trust me.
When that happens, when you get quarterbacks that are getting rid of the ball quickly, do you change how you evaluate how those guys are playing, and not just, you know, we may base it on the outside?
Yeah, we base it, you know, on the, you know, how many pass protections that they're getting, you know, how many single times they're getting blocked, and, you know, the amount of times the ball are coming out. Maybe it's under 2 seconds or 2.5. So, you know, from that standpoint, you know, I think they're up and down as well, you know what I'm saying? So we got to make sure we're on that consistent level. All right, guys, thanks.